We live in the Bay Area where we have the densest population of .com nerds, and they don't do shit for art. They do literally nothing. If anything, they do negative for art. So I'm not going to spend my time trying to figure out how to appease these people who don't actually support art and don't, in my opinion, don't know what good art is. They just... So if anyone's thinking about doing NFTs, my opinion is think about nerd culture and just try to take advantage of it.
All right, it's another episode of
Waiting to Dry. Controversy Kings.
We'll get into that later, but my name's Sergio Lopez.
I'm Josh Lawyer.
And took, I guess, a couple weeks off. I think we were both pretty busy. I think we were supposed to record last week and just...
Oh, that's one way. You guys are used to it by now.
Yeah, hope so.
But yeah, good times.
Yeah.
So were you pretty busy?
Yeah, I really just did the final push to finish up the gouache course. So that's all filmed, and I'm just waiting on their end to get it all set up and running. But it's coming along. Should be out pretty soon. So that's good.
That's all right.
Yeah, happy about that. So
awesome.
Can start selling courses.
Hell yeah.
Get some money for that shit.
Yeah, so you were, did you do like a live or something with Jeremy Duncan?
Oh, yeah.
I think I don't know if I didn't catch any. Maybe there was like a clip from it or a picture from it.
Oh, okay. It was posted to our stories. I think he probably posted it too. Yeah, it was just a little, it was kind of a last minute thing that they had me jump on it. Like they just asked me that same day. What's that?
That's what she said.
It was originally just supposed to be. It was originally just supposed to be him doing just a little half-hour talk and then a Q&A. Then they just asked me to come on for the Q&A, and just I think it was just both to help me get more eyes on what I'm doing there too.
For sure.
And just help him out too in case no one showed up. I don't know. But yeah, it was cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That's cool. Are you happy with the end result?
Well, I have to see first. I'm pretty happy with how it ended up recording. There's a couple things where I just feel little nitpicks. Like I wish I had a better camera lens for like things to be just a little sharper, but I think overall the footage looks pretty good. Like they did a little tweaking to it to make it look better on their end too.
You could have probably borrowed a camera from us, Sergio.
I know. Oh well. I mean, I have a pretty decent lens, so it wasn't that really. It was more just I think my just my setup and like the lighting and everything. I was recording, yeah. But yeah, I think I won't know for sure until I see how they lay it out, and I gotta make sure everything looks up to par.
For sure.
But
Does your camera have like the autofocus?
It does, but I switched that off to. There was a thing that they showed me where you can get it to really focus where you want it on the monitor. Like it'll show you like an outline of where it's focused, so that really helped. But yeah, I did manual focus because I don't want it to be like unfocusing or like focusing
on your fingers.
Yeah. So yeah, I just kept it manual focus the whole time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah, we went. We did end up going to Vanessa and I down to the desert area for Valentine's Day. So that was a good long weekend.
Had to bury body.
Yeah, exactly. Had to bury a lot of fish bodies in the Salton Sea.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Do you know Salton Sea very well at all? Or do you know anything about it?
The history of it a bit, like where it was like a resort kind of place.
Yeah.
They rerouted some shit, and then all the fish died out, and water dried up and now no one goes there anymore?
Well, kind of. Like, the whole thing wasn't it accidentally happened because I think they were trying to dam up parts of the Colorado River, and one part of it just like flooded out, and it's like it's like 200 feet below sea level, so just water just all just kind of pulled in there, and I guess it flooded for like 2 years before they finally were able to keep it from flooding. Oh, really? So it just created this huge lake, basically. I guess it's like the biggest body of water in California to this day. And
really?
Yeah, it's like bigger than Tahoe. It's like almost twice as big as Tahoe, and it's just this accident. But yeah, I guess that happened. When it happened, I don't know, but it was just polluted after a while, and there's no way for water to escape from it. So it just got polluted and saltier and saltier until it's just basically a big giant lake of poison now.
Right.
And but people still live in the area. It's just you can't like do anything in the water, so it's kind of pointless.
They have those that little neighborhood there that everyone talks about, right? It's like the Flats or something like that, or Slabs. That's the name.
Oh, Slab City.
Yeah, Slab City.
Yeah, we didn't go there, but we went to this like super interesting place called Bombay Beach, and it's one of the places. I think it was like the main resort area, but it's basically abandoned now for the most part. But people, like artists, have come out there and just like set up camp. This is basically like this big trailer park area with all these abandoned buildings nearby it, and people go out there and do like weird little conceptual art projects and shit, and just put up like these weird sculptures and stuff. It's actually like cooler than I expected it to be. It's hard to explain. Like, it's really like when you just try to describe the place, it doesn't sound cool at all. Right. But once you're there, and like this weird like apocalyptic kind of place, except this giant body of water that you can't go in, and it stinks like dead fish too. It's just ridiculous, and like I don't recommend for a lot of people to go, but for the adventurous type, it is actually worth checking out.
For sure. That's cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that's cool. We went out to like Borrego Springs area as well, and I really like that area actually. It's like right along the desert. I don't know if you ever like go out to like Palm Springs and that kind of area at all.
Not at all.
Do you like the desert at all?
I'm not against it. I'm not really. It's not really a destination I like seek out. But yeah, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good place to like visit for a day or two, but
yeah,
not really I don't think I would live in like a desert climate. I don't think I can handle it.
No, fuck that. There's something about that, like, I don't know. I don't like I like where I live.
Yeah, right.
I don't like super humid, and I don't like super dry.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we get spoiled here, so.
Yeah, what's funny is that we're planning on going out to like Colorado in the summer for a month, and I don't know. We'll see how I do with that dry ass climate.
Yeah, yeah. MJ's sister just came back from Colorado, and she was like, "Oh fuck!" It was just winter, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah.
How long was she out there for?
I don't know, maybe a week or two. Maybe a week, I think. But yeah, it's just. She's not a snow person.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a snow person. Yeah, I could do like, you know.
Like a day or two? Tahoe, even?
Half a day.
Half a day. Okay.
An hour and the snow is plenty.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so.
I think people who, unless you're like a snow sports person, I think that's even people who live in those climates.
Look, people, you can drink cocoa in any weather.
Yeah.
You don't need snow or rain to drink cocoa. Just drink your fucking cocoa. Yeah. I don't. It's not for me. I like water.
Yeah.
bodies of it.
Yeah.
Or, streams of it.
Streams of it, yeah.
Is a river a body of water?
Yeah, I think so. I think
for some reason I always think of it as like not. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess I've never seen the Mississippi or the Amazon. I assume I would look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's a body.
yeah, exactly.
But like the Russian River, I'm like, nah, I could walk across this bitch. Yeah, it's a big creek. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't like snow. I don't like. I mean, I think it looks pretty sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I see it from here on a mountain over there. Like, oh, that's nice looking.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
don't necessarily need to stand up there, but
yeah, it's not my thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Speaking of snow, we saw a little bit of that where we were staying up there in that town, Julian. Really tiny town. Actually, not that friendly of a place, to be honest. Not great service.
I feel like that sounds like desert people. Do you know what I mean? They just seem like people that are like, no one come here because why would you?
Maybe. I mean, it seems like it's like a touristy type of town, though.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's just like the service is just like pretty unfriendly overall.
Well, would you be happy if you lived in a desert, Sergio?
If I was a desert person, but
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe that person didn't choose to be a desert person.
Maybe. But well, they're not in the desert; they're up in the mountains. It's a little different. Yeah, it's a little bit different of a climate.
Well, maybe that's a desert person in the mountains. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A whole town full of people who don't want to meet.
So are you talking about service in regards to like restaurant stuff?
Yeah, just like any restaurant we went to.
Oh, so it was like multiple restaurants. I was imagining one person.
Oh, no. It wasn't even just the restaurants. It was even just like the coffee shop we went to, a couple of the little shops we went into as well. It was weird.
That is weird. Maybe because you're brown and Vanessa's white.
That was actually a theory we came up with.
We don't like race mixing around here. You hear?
Yeah. Well, apparently, like some of the early history was a lot of Confederate soldiers or Confederate people went out there. So who knows?
Oh, really? Hey, that shit has echoes for sure.
Yeah, but no, I mean it wasn't even just like the service we got was actually from someone who was, I believe, Mexican. So
oh, really?
Yeah. So who knows?
She was probably judging Vanessa. She was like, "We don't like,
don't need any race treating, race mixing."
She's like, "You're stealing our men."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are just not happy in that area.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like that's also a thing.
That could absolutely be a thing. Yeah, there was like this one place we went to that we didn't realize until afterwards, but the management is like very anti-mask, and they like had this whole like the these pages on the wall printed out and like all this stuff like it's against the constitutional right to force us to wear masks and all that shit. It's like, oh god. We are not in Northern California.
I must have missed that part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
The mask wearing part.
Right.
Yeah. Every year I listen to the audible version of the Constitution.
Do you really?
Yeah. It's just my way of like refreshing because I hate people.
Yeah.
I feel like the people that quote the Constitution, I hate. Or they go like, they say something like it's against the Constitution. Mm-hmm. I find that those people don't know the Constitution that well.
Okay.
And so I'm like, what part? Or things like that. And they're like, and it gets really backpedally really quick.
I see.
Or really reachy really quick. The Constitution's actually kind of not that great. I mean, it's not like I'm not against it, but it's not like this like magnificently written genius type of thing. I mean,
it's not even that long, right?
No, it's not that long. And then then you have the amendments.
Right.
And most people don't even understand what the fuck that means. Like,
really?
well, like, I feel like if you say it's in the Constitution and then you say Second Amendment, right? Then I go like, you realize that what the word amendment means, that they changed it, like that they changed the thing that you think should never be changed, is literally what that is.
Yeah.
But it's like they're quoting it like, this is the rules forever because of this thing, which is actually a change in the rules that it's like a weird, like, they haven't worked out that kink in their head yet.
Yeah. But the whole point is to be able to change it, right?
Right. But that's usually when people are like, it's almost like it's this thing where they're like, this is a forever thing that will never change. You know?
Yeah.
The whole thing's built, like the things you like about it are the changes usually.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
So, I don't know. But I don't know. There was a group of people gathering downtown. We were like in downtown a couple days ago, I think over the weekend, and you just like, they were building stands, and I'm just like, I wonder what that is, and like the guy's like shirt said something like Constitution, yada yada yada.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, we should probably like move away from this. Like,
yeah,
like it's just gonna be some shit we don't want to hear. But then we walked back and she was like, oh my God, how'd you know? I'm like, you didn't see the guy's shirt? And then the other guy's shirt said something else about like, take my guns or some shit like that. Like,
what did it end up being?
Just like, I think it was like impeached Gavin Newsom.
Oh, okay.
Stand.
I see.
So it was like, all right. It was very small crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know. That was enough politics for today. But yeah. I don't know. Sounds like, I don't know if I never know why someone is either shitty at their job, or I always try to give like maybe they're having a shitty day, but then it became a consistent thing. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the whole town isn't happy.
It could be.
It's like the opposite of like the list of like happiest towns in the country.
Right, yeah.
It's like least most depressed cities in California. What's the place called?
Julian.
So don't visit Julian, people.
Yeah. We're probably not going back anytime soon. Yeah.
And if any of you listeners are from that place, let us know why you're not happy.
Yeah.
But why there's also like the weird, sometimes with like tourist place, there's like a weird group of people who are like locals only. Do you know what I mean? There's like that part of touristy places. It's like locals only. And you're like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I kind of got a little bit of a vibe of that at the brewing co that we went for dinner once. It seemed like the only people, like it was a cold ass night, but still there were like kind of local people milling around, and it seemed like they got like preferential treatment, which I don't know. That's not that uncommon, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think that's that uncommon. But I don't.
But yeah, all the other places we went to are like the places that people recommended that we go. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe it was an off day. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe you just got like, it's like the odds thing of like,
yeah,
of like at some point in time, every restaurant you're going to, someone's going to have a shitty day that day.
Yeah.
To someone in the world at some point. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So maybe I don't fucking know. But who cares?
But
was the food all right?
It was decent.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about. Yeah.
I wonder I didn't get a letter. But yeah. Awesome. So we're caught up.
Yeah.
Sergio's travel adventures.
Yeah. You didn't do anything for Valentine's Day or anything, did you? Or you guys been up to anything in the past few weeks?
Valentine's Day, I just cooked her dinner.
That's cool.
Yeah. I made lobster.
Oh, shit.
And steak. And salad, I think. I can't remember. Other than that, we've just been working. Trying to, like, breathe a little bit. We had a job that we had to drop out of that was like a public art call, so that one was tough.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like it's just a tough way. It's just like we can kind of see, like, it's like what's happening. It was like foreshadowing like a long trudge of like too many cooks in the kitchen kind of scenario. You know what I mean? We're like,
oh, like on their end.
Yeah. So we were like, we have to back out because we can't like be micromanaged the entire way through a mural process that's going to take like 5 months or whatever. Because then it's like every day, it's like we have to like work on other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not only that, but it's like, I just can't work in that environment.
Yeah.
It like just puts me in like quicksand or some shit. It's just like I can't move anymore now because I just don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to like. It's one of those things where like, God, the more I work public art, the more I realize like you have to kind of try to figure out how to manage that like early expectation of the artist. So that they can get the best outcome. But
interesting.
Sometimes it might just be built in, and then sometimes you have to like figure out how to like clearly be like, this is not the right pathway of like introducing do you
mean the early expectation of the client?
Of us, the expectations they have of us.
Oh, okay.
We have to like figure out how to manage that on there and how to like tell them that this is a horrible route to go because it doesn't allow for good artwork.
Oh, okay.
Because I've found that there's some people who have the mentality that the entire community has to like come together and figure out what needs to be created in order for the mural to happen. And I just think that's like a really bad way of like going about things, because it just makes it so everyone's like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that.
Oh,
And it's even like to the point where you're like, but you don't know how to make like a good image, because what you're doing is you're wanting like, to throw everything, throw the kitchen sink at the mural. And it's funny because you can see like, I think it's a lot of like, that used to be how murals were done, like you see old like murals from in the city, and they'll have like a small train in the corner, and then like some of the city founding fathers, and like it's like a bunch of like tiny images.
Okay.
And it's trying to like explain the city's history through one mural.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think artists realize that like that's a really bad way of creating murals, because no one pays attention to it, because it's just is like a lot of noise with nothing, really like to say other than this city has history.
Yeah.
And so it's trying to like, and you get that when people are like, oh, we want this mural, we want all of these things. And it's like a lot of these people are, they might have come up seeing murals like that. So they're like, this is what my idea of mural should be. And it's like, it's like, to me, it's like, it's much better to have one extremely striking image than a million little things that just become noise.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like that artist, Dean Cornwell, that we brought up last time. He did a lot of murals too, and he I think maybe he had like some stuff on the periphery of the mural, but for the most part, all those all the best murals from back in the day, they were just depicting a certain part of a story that they were in the middle of telling.
Yeah, and everyone that I'm inspired by that does murals nowadays, they're all doing something that's like very focused on a single image, and that kind of living in its own thing, rather than trying to be like, how do I tackle like oppression and immigration and a whole entire culture and all these things, and you're like, I don't fuck it, like I don't I don't know how to like. And on top of that, like the wall we were supposed to do was like 50, I think it was like 55 feet wide and 5.5 feet tall.
Okay.
So it's almost like, think of like a ski, like that's like the shape of it. So to design for that is like extremely tough.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so we were like trying to crack that like nut and figure out how to like make something that we were super excited about doing and that we thought had like the most appeal, because not only that, but most people, it was high up. It was like a high up mural. Like, so it was like on a building, it was like a bar of the building, like a floor, let's say. Right?
Okay.
But not ground floor. So, and it was near a busy street that didn't seem like it had a lot of foot traffic.
Oh,
so the most people that were going to ingest that mural would ingest it driving by. So we were like, all right, well, we need something big. We need something bold. We're like, these are the things, that we figured out over time by visiting the location and all these things. And you get to a point where you're like, all right, I think we figured out how to create something that would be really good and like really high level art. And, and it just didn't work out, because at that point when we cracked that case, right after that, then public opinion was introduced, and they were like, oh, we like this old design you did. And we were like, well, it doesn't work anymore. Like, so then it became this weird thing of like, we can either just ignore these people, and then now we're like assholes because we're like, we're ignoring the feedback of the community, and being like, well, we're just going to do whatever we want. And then what ends up happening there is you get a community that's just angry at you. And I'm like, I don't want to sign up for that.
Yeah.
Or you go with what they want, and then you're not excited about it, and it's the wrong direction. And so you're like in quicksand, and you're just like, fuck, I don't want to move anymore. I don't want to like do this anymore. So it ends up being this tough decision where you're like, we have to like no hard feelings. It just, I think we mismanaged the public input. Or like, for instance, the mural we did in Oregon, right? That group, they very much knew that would be like, they were like, we don't want too many people to give their opinions. We want to like focus on who we can introduce you to that we think can help guide you to maybe figuring out a direction you guys want to go. And so, in my opinion, that was a much more, that was a much better like process of like, so it's almost like if we were introduced to the community members early on and being like, hey, tell me what you love about the community, tell me about your guys' self, tell me about the history you guys know about this community, yada, yada, yada. And we can just like write notes down and then figure out, oh, is there anything in there we can use to like be inspired to like create around? To me, that would be much more beneficial, and then just create the work and then do it. And then if someone's like, oh, I told them about that and I could see how they use that in their work, then they're happy still. We create work that we're happy about. But now through this process, it's like, all right, we have to really focus on how to like, if it seems like it's going a wrong direction early on in that, like in the process, we have to like really be, because we explained how we felt before all this played out the way it did. We were like, oh, we should like go there, meet some people, talk, have a conversation, see the community, like take it in. And if you guys have like any resources where we can communicate with people, we can talk to them, and that would be great. But then,
was this local or fairly local?
Yeah, San Rafael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it but yeah, it ended up being where I think we mentioned it, but I don't think we were clear enough.
Okay.
Almost to the point where we're like, we should have been like, this direction is really bad. It will end with us like at a dead stop.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah.
But we didn't foresee how it was going to play out, because we never been through kind of that gauntlet before.
Yeah. So it's like a lesson learned. Like next time, you just got to be more assertive, I guess, about your direction.
Yeah, I think we have to be, very assertive and very much clear about how bad that direction leads, or like how much it just deads the project.
I see.
Because I don't think they didn't want that outcome. Obviously, we didn't want that outcome. But yeah, it is what it is. It also was like the first mural of like a group of murals they're trying to tackle.
Oh, okay.
So everyone puts all of their weight, the community put all of their weight into this mural. So it was like everyone's like, we want everything in it. So it's like, I would like to do maybe like your fifth mural when everyone's like a little like more content with the work before, and they're like, oh great, just another mural. And then I can just do something that I think is good,
right? Yeah,
rather than something that's trying to appease everyone in the community.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff we've been going through. On top of like all the work we've been doing. I mean, MJ just did a print show at Cooperage.
Oh, okay.
And then released a print. So I'm helping her with that, and starting little paintings of my own, and
nice, and
all that good stuff, and trying to figure out how to create a hat, which I guess is a whole fucking ordeal.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and designing a t-shirt?
Because a t-shirt, so the place I went through to get my t-shirts done, they had a t-shirt I liked. Okay. That's pretty much the difference. Oh, okay. So not having, I have like in my head, I have the hat I want. Yeah. Or rough, like I have the hats I'm okay with. Okay. I'm like looking, they don't do that in America. Oh, okay. So now I have to like figure out, okay, well now I have to potentially go overseas, where it's like the flipped opposite. Like every hat person is like, yeah, these hats. And I'm like, yeah, those are the ones I'm looking for. And it's like everyone, I'm like, but it's Alibaba, which I don't know if anyone's familiar with, but it's very much about getting, it's like small production people. Okay. From what I understand, I might be like making this up because I've heard other people talk about it. I don't know if it's the same thing as Alibaba, but what I understand is that there's people like, for instance, in China and Vietnam and whatever, who kind of invest into one skill set, almost like we do enamel pins. We do hats, we do clothing, we do whatever. And they invest into these like machines, and they have like a small tiny business, and there's like a bajillion of them, and you have to kind of tread those waters of figuring out who will be the best fit for you, like as far as like quality especially, while having the language barrier. So it's like that those tricky waters to like trudge or whatever. Yeah.
The way it works, I don't know if this is how Alibaba works, but I thought there's like I don't know if it's this site that you put out a project and people kind of bid on it. In a way, is that Alibaba?
Yeah. So they have flat rates. They usually have like a rate listed, and then you can kind of shop around and then negotiate. Right. Okay. I've never gone through, like I've never committed to it. So MJ's gone through it before. That's why.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
what did she make on it?
Enamel pins.
Oh, okay.
She also made pop sockets.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and the first grouping she did was like real trash, and then then she got better at it. But it's still like very tricky, and you can pay for a sample, so you don't like, bite the bullet on like, 100 really bad pop sockets, let's say. But the sample usually cost like half the amount of what you're ordering. So it's like spend $100, take the risk, spend $50 for a sample. You're like, fuck, I'll just take the risk, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but once you find someone that you're happy with and you can work with, then you're like, cool, I have you, like you're my guy or girl or whoever, the family or whatever business that's doing it. So in that way, there's a benefit. Or once you figure that out, then you're off and running. But it's trying to figure out how to make that first stab. But yeah, so I'm at that point in my hat situation, which I was like, this will be a piece of cake. But the problem is like, it ends up being like $25 a hat to make in America.
Oh, geez.
And then it's like, all right, well, I was planning on selling them for like $35.
Yeah.
So like the risk is like, if I don't sell these, then I just ate a huge fucking like a huge chunk of money on hats, and I don't even know. I've never even done them to know how much I'm risking, you know. So it's like, all right, cool. I made negative $1,000 on these hats or whatever, or however. I didn't do the math yet. It might be like 3,000 or whatever. But it's like, it just ends up being so much a risk, and then the reward is like, oh, if you like. It's like, if I do sell it, then I make like $500. And you're like, well, that's nothing. You know, it's like, and then you go to Alibaba and it's like $4 a hat. And it's the hat I want. And you're like, oh, fuck. All right, I guess this is where I'm at. So that's all been fun. All this shit's like, God. Why did I do this? I mean, I enjoy the shit out of it, but fuck, it's tough sometimes.
So for that, you have to pay a shitload for a sample of a hat too?
Yeah. For Alibaba, you have to pay a shitload for a sample. The American companies, they weren't really, I didn't see a sample thing, but I just don't like their hats. Like, I'm looking for a specific hat. I'm looking for like...
like a fitted type hat, or
no? I want like wool, unstructured, 5 or 6 panel hat, kind of like almost like in between a dad hat and a grandpa hat.
It's a grandpa hat. I don't even know.
Grandpa hat's, like a dad hat. So it's almost like a trucker hat, but like cloth and like not so structured, and it's like more big. It's bigger.
Okay.
So like the old school trucker hats, not like trucker hats nowadays, but like the old school ones where they were like poofy in the front.
I think so.
Like a little bit bigger, and just like a little bit bigger of a hat.
Okay.
So
just look it up real quick, just so I have a frame of reference.
Yeah, I think there's a company in America that makes them called Richardson's, but they're just too expensive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, I could just imagine like an old crusty grandpa smoking a cigarette wearing one of these. Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, God.
Okay, I see it. Richardson 5-panel.
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay.
Richardson's pretty close to what I want, actually. But I want it to be wool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's what I want. And in China, they literally give you all the options. They're like, what do you want the fucking back thing to be? Like the fucking like buckle or whatever. They're like, do you want leather? Do you want cloth? Do you want a brass buckle? Do you want a nickel buckle? Do you want your little like tag on the back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every detail of the hat you can manage.
Yeah.
Where here, it's like you get 6 hats and they're all like, you end up realizing like, oh, this is not for resale. This is for like companies trying to give their coworkers hats.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, God damn it. I don't want that. I want to find, and maybe there is a resale in America that I just don't know about. I just couldn't find it. At least for a price that I can take that risk on. So yeah, I've been dealing with that.
The image on it, would it be like embroidered? Like
yeah. So it's not embroidered, but it's called. It's kind of like it'll be
a type of stitching,
it'll
though,
be
right?
like a woven. I think it's called like woven design or something like that.
Okay.
So it's you can have more detail in it, but it's all thread.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Now I'm like obsessed. Every time I see someone with a hat with a patch on it, I'm like, bring that over here. Let me see that.
Yeah.
Can I measure how big that patch is and figure out if that's the size I want exactly? But yeah, it's
they're just like, Mom, this man is trying to talk to me.
touch me.
Stranger danger.
But yeah. Other than that, I mean, just trying to. It's like I'm in that stage, where like I did the New York show, and I have the San Francisco show,
right.
in October. So I'm like working out, like I'm like brainstorming all the like what I'm trying to do, really, like where I'm trying to go exactly. So it's like all this like thinking, and we've shot, I think, 2 models for the show so far. And we need to shoot more, but it's like that weird stage where all I'm doing is trying to figure out like all the paintings that I'm about to tackle and the steps I need to take to like get that done. So it's all like stuff that I feel like it feels, because you have that like weird demand to like post stuff on social media.
Sure.
So I feel like I'm not doing anything, but it's just all like behind the scene work shit.
Oh yeah, I get that.
So yeah, it's the shit I don't enjoy, but it's always like super necessary.
Yeah, that's true.
So that you can like get MJ excited about the end result. But yeah. Where the fuck is she going?
Was that MG?
I think so. We're the only car that makes that like sound. But yeah, that's my life.
That's cool.
Did you want to go into these thingies?
Sure. What do we got first here?
We haven't done listener questions in a while.
No, I guess we haven't, right? It's been like half a year at least, huh?
Next episode, we'll do that shit.
All right.
Send them now. And then we'll for sure won't miss them. I feel like we always miss like 3 because we're like the day of.
Yeah, this is actually this article.
Is this Beeple?
Yeah, Beeple Mania.
Okay.
Actually, kind of ties into the other article a bit too.
Who the fuck? Excuse me. They can't. There's someone outside. People can't. Don't know what I'm talking about.
Are you familiar with this guy's stuff? Have you seen it before on Instagram?
It looks familiar. At least some things. Did he do like a Hillary Clinton like robot thing?
Probably. I'm sure.
Because yeah, like I remember seeing something where there was like a Hillary Clinton, Trump, and Kim Jong-un thing, like all in one image.
Yeah.
I forget what they were doing, and I was like, oh, that's a thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not familiar with his work. I just know it looks familiar to this. It looked like satirical and kind of like unforgiving, and yeah.
Yeah, that's more or less his whole shtick with his art. Which, yeah, I mean, I like the ideas behind it. I'm just not that into digital art in that way. Like the actual look of it is fine. But I guess the interesting thing about it was this whole like using blockchains to sell digital art. Are you familiar with that at all?
The NFTs.
I guess so. Is that what they're called? Yeah.
My fucking brother. Oh, he's gonna be so excited we're talking about this.
Really?
God damn it. He's been for months being like, dude, you need to look into NFTs. And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, it's yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm busy, man.
Yeah.
I don't got time to like, this seems like a whole nother world I have to like introduce into my world.
Right. Yeah.
Figure out how to get good at. Like, that's the thing that I don't know if people understand how long things take to get good at something, how much effort goes into it. Like my mom called me this week and she was like, hey, I need you to like, she was like, I need you to help me fix this video feed that we're doing for like the Tongan community. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, yeah, we just need it to be better quality, yada, yada. And I'm like, what? I don't know, like, in which way? Like, you could just film on your phone. By the end, I realized that she just needed a tripod that could hold a phone. But she didn't have the language.
Oh, okay.
But just, like, we kept going through, and she was like, how do we make quality, like, images better? And I'm like, I don't know. Me and MJ work really hard at learning how to, like, take good video and good picture, and like this takes like I feel like we're like 6-7 years into like really working on it, and even then we're like amateurs at best.
Sure.
You know? So
yeah, exactly.
So like my brother introduced me to the NFTs, and I'm like the non-fudgeable tokens or whatever.
Yeah.
Fungible, non-fungible tokens. I think, and he's been like, and I told him, I was like, you learn it and then tell me, and I can create art. I'm actually, me and MJ talked about this yesterday. It was like, maybe we can create shit that like we think will make money, and give it a stab. Maybe.
Yeah.
I have like 2 ideas where I'm like, I pretty much, okay, first of all, NFTs, this is how I feel about these fucking things. I don't like selling artwork to internet nerds. The fact of the matter is they don't buy fucking art.
Right.
The fact that they're buying this is like not surprising to me because it's kind of nerd culture. It's more closer to Pokemon cards than it is to art. Yeah. And so I'm not knocking it, but that's just the fact of the matter. They don't collect art. Like, we live in the Bay Area where we have the densest population of .com nerds, and they don't do shit for art. They do literally nothing. If anything, they do negative for art. So I'm not going to spend my time trying to figure out how to appease these people who don't actually support art and don't, in my opinion, don't know what good art is. They just... So if anyone's thinking about doing NFTs, my opinion is think about nerd culture and just try to take advantage of it. Right. Like, that's what you should be doing. You should be going, I don't know, think about fucking Legos, think about everything, comic book shit, all that type of shit, and figuring out how to make it slightly humorous for these people in a way that they're going to fucking be like, oh, that's great. Buy it for $1 million or whatever the fuck they're buying it for. Right. But to me, it's like, I don't know, like... I'm not going to try to like put my actual artwork up as like this version of, I don't know. I'm not going to run towards the money with my art, but I have this idea that I'm like, oh, I might be able to do like design that and then maybe make like a chunk of money. And I won't be mad. I would have fun designing it. I'll tell you afterwards. But as far as like my actual work, I don't know, but
yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's almost like collecting shoes or something for
it really is. I heard someone talking about it and they were like, yeah, so worst case scenario, if this thing ends up being worth nothing, at least I have it for my digital home. What? What the fuck is a digital home?
Is that like Second Life where it's like,
I don't know. But it's like you spend
my guess is that it's like almost like a Sims house.
Yeah, but it's like if you spent like real money on a digital home that you don't live in, it seems so crazy to me. But yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, we're like, buy art. Buy art for your real fucking home.
Right, yeah.
Don't, that's why I don't fucking waste my time trying to sell the fucking, and I don't mean nerds isn't a fucking derogatory term either. It's like, it's just what it is. It's fucking...
No, I think at this point, people know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's that culture that just, they collect what they collect, and it's fine. It's almost always built on nostalgia. It's always almost always built on like nerd culture type shit, which is like, just think of Comic-Con and just create Comic-Con comedically, and you have yourself an NFP that might be worth a shitload of money or nothing. Like I think one of the big ones is like the punks, you know that, like
the punks
or some shit like that. It's just a bunch of like, it looks like Nintendo graphics, like very pixelated.
Okay.
But like punk kids.
Oh, I know. I'm not familiar with this.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That would be popular with this group because it's like punk rock kids and Nintendo shit,
right,
colliding, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yes, I'll buy it for $100,000."
Yeah,
and you're like, "All right, do whatever you want." I think fuck, like, I don't even understand the money you have to be able to do shit like that, but it's all based on nostalgia, all based on like fucking like the FOMO shit of like, I don't want to be the person who didn't buy NFTs when they weren't cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like all that shit. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I think this tickles the same like bone of the person who's like really wanting to get in on like Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah. And it works almost the same way.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. It's just, I don't know how, like, I don't know why, like, it's almost like a new version of the art market is what it is.
Yeah.
Being.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It totally reminds, like, this whole thing coming out, like, even with like the Banksy thing, they're trying to merge the two together. But yeah, it is a version of the, of that whole art market, like that, what do you call it? Like that movie, The Price of Everything. It's like, it's just like the new version of that kind of.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I might be dead wrong about this. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know enough. This is just my initial opinion.
Yeah.
Who knows? In fucking a year from now, I might be like, NFTs, I told you guys to get in early.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you to do fucking nerd culture shit? Now I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
So who knows? I honestly, this is just my initial opinion on the thing. This is like, this shit is so fucking brand new that what I've understood about it, the only thing I've understood that seems like it might be kind of cool is that it's like you can build in a contract to the thing.
Oh, interesting.
So it's almost like if someone ever sells your NFT, they have to give you half of their profits.
Interesting.
Something like that. And I know you can also build in physical objects. So you can go like, with the purchase of this NFT, you get an original artwork. You get the original piece that's attached to that thing.
Yeah.
And to me,
that's interesting.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because it almost ends up being like, well, I'm just taking payment.
Yeah.
And this is your receipt.
Yeah.
But your receipt is valued in its own sort of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like video games, you can buy like downloadable content. And I don't know if it's a thing where like if you buy certain downloadable content, you get like a free swag or like a swag thing included with it or something. And
so it's like non-fudgeable. So like you can literally build in that anytime anyone ever sells it, you get half the profits of any sell ever for the rest of the existence of the thing. So it's not like say if I sold a painting and then that person sells it for twice as much, I get half of that money. Then that person again sells it again, I get half of his rewards, and then over and over and over and over again. I think Basquiat's family is like trying to take advantage of this this whole like thing so that they end up being able to sell the work but still retaining like ownership over it.
Do you know much about how that would work? Like, is it something that automatically happens whenever you
build it into your NFT?
Right. So I was just curious if you knew.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea.
Because I don't know. Otherwise, how is that enforced? But I feel like that's really cool that like if it's an automatic thing, it's just like numbers transferring.
I would assume it would be
another.
a built-in code.
Yeah.
Once it sells, you are automatically get some money kicked back to you.
Right.
And you're like, cool, I made another. But yeah.
Yeah, I actually really like that idea of it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I was like, oh, that's interesting, because it's kind of immediately accepted. Do you know what I mean? There's always these things that are built in early on in any kind of like culture or something that live on even if they don't make sense. And so, for instance, artists and gallery is a 50-50 thing, right? No matter if it's like a credible gallery or a fucking, cardboard box.
Or a gallery you had a show in 2018.
Yeah, or that, yeah. But yeah, so that's the thing that I find the most interesting is like, oh, well, there almost is no rule. You get to figure out what rule it is. Yeah. I assume the culture will slowly build, though. You know what I mean? Like something will become the standard, and then everyone will have to fall in line. But if you can get in early before the culture and somehow catch a name, then you could potentially be exempt of that culture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something worth looking into, but it's like what you said. I don't know if it's worth investing that much time into something that, could fizzle out or like not be understood for a long time.
If I don't know if this guy's doing it and if he's successful at it, but it doesn't surprise me because at least when I first looked into NFTs, I don't know how much things have changed. It's only been about, I don't know, my brother might have told me like 2 or 3 months ago. And I looked into it, and at that time all the NFTs were like, they were just like little like things of like Trump was like a pile of shit. You know what I mean? Like a pile of shit with like orange hair on top.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Or like a Pokemon, like literally like Pokemon cards. Or things like that. It was like all like current event type shit.
Were these all digital art or
it was all digital art.
Okay.
It all felt like cards, like trading card type things. And in that kind of arena. So, it's like, to me, it was like, I don't know. It's just like I literally just went through all of my old cards. Like I just reboxed them. They're over there.
Yeah.
And
damn, you had a lot of cards.
I have even more, but that's the ones that are out right now.
Yeah.
But those you realize when you go through like those cards and you're like, it's like, like 90s flair or whatever. And you're looking through and you see these football players.
Yeah.
And you're like, and my mind goes to, fuck, this guy was at the 1% of skill level in the sport. You know what I mean? Like he made it there. He made it to professional athlete.
Yeah.
And no one knows who the fuck this guy is.
Right.
And his card isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
It's literally not worth the cardboard it's on. Do you know what I mean? But he worked his ass off, and his effort, once he put his life and his body at the line to get to this 1%, and we don't give a fuck. And then it's like, and you just look through these cards and you just see name after name after name. And then even then you see names that you might recognize and their card means shit. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, Daryl Strawberry. Let me go look up his card value. And it's like 5 cents. And you're like,
oh shit.
And you're like, nothing. You're like, okay, so like the 1% of the 1% aren't even worth shit. And then you start realizing, okay, the people that are worth money are Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, right? Like the historical figures that like Jackie Robinson or some shit like that, right? Those cards, things like that, where it's like, it's like these figures that are like the greatest of all time, or a moment in time that was extremely important.
Right.
Everything else is nothing. And you're like, everyone right now is going to run and do NFTs, or a lot of people are. And a lot of people are going to be that guy that worked their ass off, that got to the 1% and don't mean shit.
Right.
Because in the fucking world of Bitcoin and stock market and all that shit, and art market shit, the value isn't built into the quality, it's built into something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so as an artist, you have to be super aware of that and understand that, and be willing to go to places that you might not be comfortable in going as an artist. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's a good point.
So it's, everyone's hopping on this like, I'm gonna do an NFT. It's like, do it. I mean, I might be biting my tongue next year and being like, NFTs. You should have got it when I said to.
Right. Yeah.
But at this point, like that's the things that terrify me. And I was like, it's like, we're going to have a fucking market full of artists, and it's going to almost devalue a lot of artwork and then value shit that isn't necessarily worth being valued. So, hopefully,
You mean shit that's just not good art?
yeah, or not. It appeals to the nerd culture that has a large amount of money.
I see. Yeah.
I don't know,
Which may or may not be good art. Yeah.
which may or may not be good art. So, yeah. And as far as I can see, there's very few people that are in that world that I've ever met that have. I could think of one, maybe if I tried hard, I know one for sure person who supports art, supports good art, who's in that world. Like personally, Google will do what Google does. Google's like, yeah, we have budgets, we'll spend that shit on art. The workers in Google, a totally different story.
Right. Yeah.
The way they think of value is very different than the way I do it in regards to art. It's all about resellability and hype and all that FOMO shit, all that stuff. That's how they figure out what they want to invest in, what they want to hang on their walls. God forbid they have an opinion about what good art is. So, I don't know. I don't know if there was anything else about that guy.
Not really. I mean, the art itself wasn't like worth like spending a lot of time on. I don't think it was more just like the whole concept of that happening. I mean, he is like, even he's surprised at how much his stuff was going for. I think it was like, God, some of these were selling for just like each. I think I saw one was like $700,000. So yeah, he was like surprised at it, just even for himself, because he wasn't expecting this to be a whole big thing.
Right.
Like this was a thing where he kind of was just doing this art almost on the side. I don't remember exactly what he was doing as a job before all this, but yeah, this was just something he was just doing for fun, and it just ended up catching on Instagram. And yeah, this one was 700. The most expensive NFT in history was one of these things that he sold was for $777,000 and 777 cents. Or yeah, $777,000. 6 sevens is all I'm trying to say. But yeah, he was just kind of taken aback by the whole thing anyway. I guess, wow, he made $3.5 million on the weekend alone.
Damn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he retains 90% of the initial sale, and he'll also earn 10% of the secondary sales.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, that is one of those cool things about, we've just been talking so much on the podcast about just going around the whole structure that 50-50 gallery split and everything like that, and just one new way to do it, one more way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm terrified of it because I know that business minds have ways of destroying things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sounds like the things that I like. I would say if you're thinking about doing it, do it as fast as humanly possible and figure out how to connect with someone who can build in code that protects you. Because I don't know how to do that shit. And I don't know, maybe there's some simple app that you can set up. I don't fucking know, to be honest.
Yeah.
That being said, I think the culture will quickly change and be managed by people that aren't artists. I think a lot of artists right now are very like, we're going to take back the fucking our control. Yeah. It's like, hopefully, I think.
Or just transfer the control to some other.
Yeah. And to me, the other entity is much more cutthroat, is much more vicious than an art gallery could ever be. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't fucking know. I know everyone thinks that Bitcoin is some decentralized, or blockchain is this like decentralized thing, but it's also a culture. And
and you're still relying on other people to handle that shit because most people aren't going to be able to know the tech for that.
It's like YouTube, right? YouTube, it started off as like a bunch of people being like, let me review this sliced bread and yada yada, and like show you kitten videos and do like silly like like I don't know, songs and things like that. And then it morphed, you know, it went from decentralized to like morphed into like this thing, and then networks get in, and then all of a sudden you're like, why is Jimmy Fallon always on my fucking YouTube feed even though I never watch his shit? You know, you're like, yeah, of course the shit gets corrupted. Like, the idea is great, but like,
because CBS had old money to throw into it. And then, you know, ideas go, oh well, we want secure, because decentralized is Wild West, and the idea of security can like make you do dumb shit, you know, and so like that's what happens. So things start becoming different and cultures start becoming different. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I honestly don't understand it enough to like even know if that's even a possibility with this shit. Because I don't understand blockchain and crypto that well. I understand it to a point, but I also have talked to people who are really smart, and they also kind of don't. They explain it like how I understand it. And I'm like, all right, does no one understand this shit? Is everyone just like, you know, it's just a way of not having people control you or whatever. Like, all right. I don't know if that works out well. I don't think, I mean, even if it was, I don't think it's possible, I should say. I don't know. I just don't think things stay that way that long. So, yeah, I mean, all the government needs to do is go like, well, we're going to regulate Bitcoin now. Or it's not allowed in this country. And then you're okay, now it's a regulated thing, right? Now, aren't they already starting to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to pay taxes on your Bitcoin and shit. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's in everything. All that shit's all inevitable. So, like, I don't know. The larger culture is too fucking like, is too sturdy to like be able to be like, we're just gonna decentralize shit all the time. Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know if I want to be wrong. Fucking, I don't know. I don't get the answer to those big ass questions like that. But yeah. Yeah, that's that. Well, did you say you had a Banksy thing or no?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty much along the same lines where, a blockchain company bought a $95,000 Banksy artwork, burned it, and broadcast it live on Twitter, all part of a process turning the work of art into a virtual asset called an NFT.
Okay, leave the outrageous fucking things to Banksy, please.
Yeah.
We don't need you burning Banksy. He's already destroying his own art.
Right. Yeah.
God.
I'm just. Yeah.
People are such overdramatic fucks sometimes. Goddamn. We burnt it. Okay, great. Good for you. God, people, and then they all like high-fived each other and pat themselves on the back. Like, we burnt $1 million, yeah, and we made it digital, so we're cool now.
Right.
Such nerd culture bullshit.
It just becomes an ad for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, and they probably all thought they were being creative and geniuses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if Banksy said anything about this whole thing at all or not.
He was like, Mr. Brainwash, he fucking sucks. that was a recording Banksy sent us. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Another waiting to dry exclusive.
Yes. That's what we do. Breaking news.
All right.
Yeah.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Also, as far in regards to Banksy news, he's pregnant.
Yeah.
And he's already said that he's going to name his child Banksy.
Banksy?
Banksy. And there's a dad joke for all of you to listen to wake you all up.
They come out with the movie Babe Banksky's Kids.
He's like, and I still isn't it?
Yeah. Isn't it?
Bruv. But yeah. That's that. We did it.
Yeah. Not a lot to say about the article beyond that, other than, yeah, it had Banksy stuff in it.
Yeah.
Banksy? No, Banksy. Zing!
Yeah, I have a feeling like we're going to get a lot of like really tacky, like, look at me now kind of shit.
Out of this NFT
things.
Probably, right?
We're going to introduce that whole like world where they're like, you know, they think that they're Wolf of Wall Street. They watch that and they're like, that's us.
Yeah, exactly. Tech bro type. Well, yeah.
God,
NFT bros.
This is real attention. Yeah. So hold on to your seats, everyone. Get ready for that. That would be exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, if anyone was waiting for our opinions on NFTs, you got them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot that I need to learn about them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully it's even worth learning about, or else just kind of waste your time.
It could be. I mean, you could make $3 million. People can make $3 million. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. There is potential money to be made. It just... and as the artist, you kind of have an advantage because the thing with like stocks and bitcoins and things like that is you want to get in on the ground floor, right? Mm-hmm. But as the artist, you're the ground floor. So that's the one benefit. So you literally can't lose. You just can't. You might not win. Mm-hmm. You know. So that's the one good thing. Like you're not really, you're risking your time and your energy, but you're not investing, at least not that I know of. I don't know if you have to like hire a coder to like build in all these things.
I have no idea.
If so, then never mind, I take it back.
Yeah.
I don't think so though, but I haven't looked into it that hard.
Yeah, I don't even know enough to know if there's like an infrastructure already built in somewhere. Like, is there already Bitcoin has like Coinbase and all that other stuff where you could trade coins on, but yeah, I have no idea if NFTs already have that.
I think they do, yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I've been on them. I checked to go check out like what the fuck they were when I but they have like these, I don't know if they're apps or websites, I don't know exactly what you call them, but where you can like scroll through and look at a bunch of them and
really
sort by price and all that kind of shit, and purchase. And people do like runs like prints, so they're like, I'm selling like these 10 NFPs.
Oh, okay.
Of this one image.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I see. Well, I mean, there's a shitload of digital artists out there, so I guess might as well, if you're a digital artist, get in on that.
Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, you could make some money.
I feel like you already have to have like a big name. I would think.
I don't think so. I just think you need to hit like the right vein, because if you like the people that are like, this is the great art in NFTs, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
oh really?
They don't have any idea, because it's all like .com people who are like, they don't like focus on that type of shit. So it's like a whole new audience of people with large wallets. But you have to be able to create art that they're into.
Yeah. It's like what you're saying. Yeah. I guess you do have to approach it in a different way, where you're not just, posting on Instagram to a bunch of artists. You kind of have to think of it more in like, I don't know, even like the whole like spoke art way of just like focusing so much on nostalgia stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then figuring out how to like create a name in that bubble that seems to add value, and then I don't know what else. I mean, cross your fingers and hope that you somehow catch that wave.
Yeah, I guess so.
I assume that for most people, if you're going to want to be successful in there, you're going to want to think of like a strategy to like build a name. You know what I mean? You're going to like want to figure out how to like create value of these things not like overnight, but more think long term of like, you don't want to like, if you don't want to buy a stock that can like shoot up to like 1 million in a day and then drop to like 0 the next day. So you want to like make sure that, I don't know, you're figuring out how to like create this like, value. It's like if you think about Pokemon cards, as the like comparison, or any sports card, it's like the reason a rookie card is worth a lot is because no one knew how good that person was going to be when they fucking became Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Or became whoever the fuck, so the card grew in value based on what happened after that thing. Same with like Pokemon cards. Like you can buy a fucking, like Charizards are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're in mint condition from like the earlier packs, but that's because most kids bought that shit, were excited, and fucking like played around with it and whatever, and fucked it up.
Right.
So like the people that were the ones that like thought to collect their shit in mint condition and knew how to do that, they're the ones that reap the reward of the fact that name built over time, and that no one anticipated this thing to be worth so much this far along. And so it's like the years after that create the value.
Yeah.
Where like someone like this guy, who knows, he might have made, he sounds like he made money, so good on him, but like the longevity of it's the question of like a person who wants to like, because it ends up just being an investment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, you almost have to treat it right now like you're investing in a penny stock or something, and just hoping it'll...
Or collectibles.
Oh, yeah.
Or, G.I. Joe figures or whatever. It's all that kind of shit. It's like, that's what people are treating it, because it doesn't have the value that like an actual G.I. Joe figure has of being able to play with it and have fun with it. So it's almost like this weird thing that's like less than a collectible, but somehow more valued.
But because you can still put it in your virtual house, though.
Yeah, because you can inflate the fucking shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put in your virtual house. And kids, clean up your virtual G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking. I don't know. Why people gotta make the world so complicated? You know what I mean? Why is it gotta, like, why do we have to, like, make up this new thing? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the best fix for the art problem.
Yeah, I don't know how much that Beeple guy. I'm sure there was more strategy involved than the articles letting on, because
Sure.
They're like trying to paint the story about him being like, oh, like, I don't know, I just was doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I'm putting my stuff up and it's selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm sure there was more to it than that.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he might have just, because his work is so political, and it was during an extremely political time where it probably started blowing up. So, like,
Yeah, maybe that part of it. But then when it came down to the blockchain, or like this whole NFT thing, I'm sure maybe just somebody approached him and he just like decided to go along with it. I don't know.
yeah, I have no idea.
And the article doesn't really explain it. So
Or he's Illuminati. Could be true. Could
Always.
be true. Look into it. All I'm saying is look into it. But yeah.
Illuminati.
Illuminati.
Word.
Word. Yeah, but I don't know. God. In a weird way, I'm like, I hope this is a passing fad. I hope some people like cash out fat that are artists and like, cool, I just bought a nice house.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. But I don't know. I don't want the art world to exist in a digital world. Like to be primarily thought of as in this digital house that we all have.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to live there. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think it gains any actual like real world value other than like it's like that stock market shit. It's like it's all kind of pretend and like a weird like manipulation of an idea. It's a concept that you can manipulate in order to create value. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like art being in a physical world.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of the reason I do fine art instead of stayed in the whole like concept art world.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What else you got? What else are we talking about?
Been on TikTok more lately these days.
Nice. How you liking it?
I like it. I've been treating it a different way than my other social media. Like I kind of realized that the way that like people are like consuming social media these days, like it kind of feels like you almost have to make like little mini movies to like be good on TikTok almost. And so it's kind of made me think of like presenting things in a different way than I normally have before. I'm just more like silly on it and just like creating like little stupid things on it, like just to entertain myself and hopefully other people enjoy it.
For sure.
So yeah, I've just been just trying to come up with little funny things to interject into the things rather than just be like, film myself painting and here's a slideshow of my art. It's like, I don't think that really works very well on TikTok.
No, you have to be a storyteller. You have to say something, whether it's like silly or whatever. There has to be like a reason why someone, I don't know, puts it in.
Right, exactly, yeah. And yeah, unfortunately, it has to be a little bit more than just your art, because like you can just go to Instagram and do that. It's like there's no real benefit to just doing that on TikTok. So it kind of forces you to be a little bit more creative in your presentation of of what you're doing, and whether that means like you have to like be more entertaining in showing your process, for example, or just think of like new ways of presenting your art.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun. Like it kind of is making me enjoy posting on social media again a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely more funner than Instagram has been.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there's an artist I don't even know if I follow him anymore or if I ever followed him. I know MJ follows him for sure, but he's like he's a really funny person.
Okay.
He's always just like, he did a take on like when people are like, what pencil do you use? And he's just like, and I don't even remember it really, to be honest, but it was like, oh, this guy's a really funny human being. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how successful he's been on TikTok, but I know he's got an okay following. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where you kind of learn who the artist is in a way, that feels, at least for the most part, authentic. Obviously, there's always going to be, some people who aren't super authentic, who like, pretend they draw things on subways.
Yeah.
And they obviously are not. But, other than that, I think for the most part, people are pretty authentic, and you can see if someone's funny or serious or and you can find a group of people who kind of connect with that in general.
Yeah, like Tony's been doing really well. Tony Giraldi Brown, shout out. And he's been, he's not necessarily like trying to be funny or anything on it, but he's more just being his authentic self, as they say on there. And like he's just been like, he's really good at getting other people to engage with him on it just by asking good questions on there. And
for sure.
Just being like really open about himself and his process on there. It's like the most like authentic Tony you can get on social media. It's interesting to see.
Yeah. So, and that's what you kind of, at least for me, I think that's like really important and really good. Mm-hmm. Where, if you're like, for instance, there's people like if you're anyone, I mean, everyone's been on YouTube, right? And there are these like prank videos created that everyone, at least for like everyone I know that watches knows they're fucking fake.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you watch it and you go like, and the guy's like, this is how you pick up girls.
Yeah, yeah.
And you watch it and you're just like cringing and you're like, fuck, this is so dumb and so fake. But if you ever scroll through the comments, it's like 12-year-old boys being like, fuck yeah, like, you slip her the tongue, like fuck her in the butt, because they don't know shit. You know what I mean? They're just like, that's how it's done, guys. Like, now we know. Like, you just grab a girl by her fucking hair and pull her and tell her, give me your number, and start kissing her. And you're like, and to me, it's like, people might be like, oh, they're just fucking whatever. Like,
right.
Or like, oh, we all know it's fake, but it's just entertainment. But to me, I'm like, it's misleading and it's dumb as fuck. Mm-hmm. And if you call these people out on it, they might. You usually get pushback, I would assume.
Yeah.
Well, I know that guy, like H3 guy, would call them out, and they used to always get fucking mad at him. But it's like, it's like, like they're obviously misleading, and they're misleading and the audience that's aware is either going to ignore it or say like, oh, it's full of shit, and just keep moving on. And then the audience that sticks around, they're just naive or ignorant to the fact that it's misleading. Yeah.
I've been like just for fun scrolling through the comments of the Subway guy, and the most entertaining thing to me is just to see the people who almost get it but don't quite, where they're just like, man, you must be so good, because who could actually paint that quickly? Like, you must be so good. It's like, oh, you just need to take one more step and you'll get it. But it's also hilarious. Like, well, he just pretty much straight up ignores anybody who like calls him out on it, like on his page.
Well, not everyone.
Oh, yeah. But it's funny how you got him to engage with you.
Well, I think what's funny is like, okay, so I saw his stuff on TikTok, right? We talked about this already.
Yeah.
The guy that draws like people on subways, wink, wink. but I've seen his stuff on TikTok, and I've like shown him, and I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, this shit is so fake.
Right.
And then we just moved on, you know, like, especially with TikTok, you just kind of scroll past it as fast as possible.
Right.
Because he'll show up like multiple times. So it's like, all right, every time I see a guy sitting on a subway, I'll just skip it.
Right.
But then we had the conversation because Milo brought it up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen that guy. Like, yeah, this shit's hella fake.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember what I said about it on the podcast, but it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. And like, I never fucking remember what I say on these podcasts.
Yeah.
But then, so I follow the Blue Review, which is like, I actually really like how they curate their page.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I follow like a handful of these like online galleries or whatever you want to call them, because like I might stumble onto an artist I just have no idea exists, that I'm like, wow, they're really good. Like,
for sure,
that's impressive. Where were you my whole life?
Yeah.
And so I was like flipping through, and I like saw that video, like a video real quick, and I just like wrote something like silly, really quick, like.
And it was one where he's like painting a person, right?
No, he was just drawing.
Oh,
he was adding like white highlights and like using like like 5 different. So I think I wrote something like, oh, he must get a lot more value for his artwork by pretending he drew it on the train.
Yeah.
Even though or whatever. I wrote something in around the, but. It's not my fault that my comment just happens to be like the most liked, so it's the top one.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what ends up having him respond to it. And he's but it's just very much like it's like, all right, whatever, man. You're doing a lot, talking. It's that kind of like weird passive aggressive about my opinion of like, whatever, man. Like you sure are being productive by saying this, and like saying what? Just say it. Just say what you're doing. Like, and then when you're done, you know what I mean? If he was like, yeah, I stage it to look like it's that when it's clearly not, then I would almost immediately be like, all right, yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's the like doubling down of like, whatever, man. And then so we did like a little back and forth, which I'm not terrified of confrontation.
Sure.
So he's very like, oh yeah, I heard you talk about me on the podcast, and I'm like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about whatever the fuck I want on the podcast. Have you not? You obviously don't listen, because I talk shit about all the things all the time.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you guys hashtagged me. And I'm like, I was like, I assumed he meant the Instagram page. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of like, and then he was like,
what does that even matter though?
Yeah. And then he was like, your opinions are very productive. And then I wrote like, yeah, I do pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's like this like weird thing of like, you have an opinion of my opinion, obviously. I have an opinion about your shitty videos. Like, that's what it is. Like, I'm allowed to have my opinion. You're allowed to have yours. I just think mine is more grounded in the fact that you're misleading people, and yours is grounded in the fact that you're angry that I'm calling you out.
Right, yeah.
I mean, is what it ends up being. So it's like, but yeah, it is what it is. Me just always getting into little tits and taps here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but it was funny because he went at me. I don't know why exactly. I'm assuming because I'm the top comment, but literally almost every comment below mine was like, oh, it must have been a long train ride. Oh, yeah, like just like obviously calling him out.
Oh, okay.
About being like, don't
like
think
sarcastic,
so. Yeah. Sarcastically being like, oh, must have been a long train ride. Wink, wink.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and my assumption is that Blue Review has like a ton of artists following the page. So, so they have a lot of artists who, first of all, if you're an artist and you don't have an opinion on anything, why are you even an artist? Like go be, I don't know, an accountant. Where you don't, I mean, like at least in my opinion, if the point of creating art is to have something worth saying, then like that literally means you have an opinion. You You know, so like if you don't allow people to have opinions on you misleading people, then fuck off. Like,
right.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, maybe he came. Well, yeah, I guess maybe he came after you on that page because he doesn't have control on it. So he felt like he had to say something on that page. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, I mean, like, I don't really like teach their own. Like, you can go like mislead people, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be like bullshit.
Right. Yeah. And I think most people who get it will say that. Like, I didn't say anything on his page, but his stuff showed up, and I was just like, when I saw that he's like, now he's doing paintings of people on the subway, I'm just like, oh, now he's just rubbing it in people's face.
Doing paintings?
Yeah, he's like faking hilarious. Oil paintings on there now.
That's hilarious.
And it made me think that somebody should do like a parody video of how that would actually go in real life.
Right.
Like, you hand somebody a wet oil painting, they're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this thing?
I know. That was like the other thing is like the people who he's like drawing or whatever, they're clearly actors.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And you're like, and that's where it gets like even weirder, because I know there was one on TikTok where he's like, I'm painting he was like drawing a first responder because they were in their scrubs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that person even a real first responder? Like, are they really a nurse? Like, are they really, or are you just like, is it even more of a lie? Like, are you just like, well, let's go buy some scrubs, let's have you sit, let's have you pose, and then let's pretend. Like, I don't even fucking know. You know, I don't know. It's like, and then at that point it becomes even worse if that's true, which I don't know if it is or not, but I don't trust him as a person because he seems like a fucking liar. So it's like, okay, if you're lying about that, then that to me is like real piece of shit, because you're like you're like, people, I'm a good guy because I paint first or draw first responders on the trains after a long day of work.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, nah, you're even more of a piece of shit. Like, you're tugging at heartstrings, and you're manipulating people in order to get what? You know, I mean,
right.
I think we've talked about it before, but like the respect of your peers is extremely important, especially I think if you're pursuing a passion, you know, and I think he's going to find himself, however successful or not he's going to be in the future. He's obviously very successful now, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And how long you can literally draw people or not literally draw people on the subway.
Yeah.
Like, if he's just going to be like, you know, if he's just a passing fad, because people are like, all right, what else? Or whatever. But that's going to end up being, in my opinion, a lonely place where no one respects your art that's your peers, and you're just there being like, I really fucking cornballed it up for
right.
1 million followers, you know, and that shit's gonna slowly, I'm assuming it slowly declines when people are like, yeah, we get it, you like draw people on the subway, wink wink. Then what? You know, then you're just left with your subpar artwork at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not against people trying to pursue eyeballs to get attention on their artwork.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clever gimmick. Like, if he's the person who came up with that, but yeah, that's what you're saying. And not only is it like the deception in it, but then it's like, okay, you got all these eyeballs on you, and now what? Like, the quality of eyeballs too plays into that.
Yeah, I was talking to MJ about it, and I was like, he's just an influencer. And then I was like, wait, he's not even that, because no one even knows who the fuck the guy is. He's literally a viral video is what he is. That's what he is. He's a viral video. Cool. You're not artwork that's going to last. You're not even a personality that people know. What are you? You are a viral video. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You are a cute kitty cat. You know what I mean? You're a panda sneezing.
Yeah.
Great. I don't give a fuck. Like, have fun. The world will move on. The artwork does not stand alone. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. Out of context, they're just like, they look like student drawings and paintings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You remove that video, and the artwork doesn't get any attention. You know? So it is what it is.
Right.
But have fun. A lot of people that aren't great at things succeed. So, you know, teach their own. Do you, boo-boo?
Sell an NFT of your painting if you want.
NFT. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now that we've gotten past that, I need to talk about a real subject, which is a disease MJ's suffering from, which is white-guy-face-blindness.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a thing that's been tugging at my heart for a while.
Yeah.
MJ, as you all know, is my wife. And for years now, I've noticed that she'll, you know, see a white guy and go, hey, isn't that blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, he doesn't look anything like,
Okay.
you know, let's say Jason Avery or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no. That guy's like 6'7" and like long dark hair and whatever. But it really came to a head recently when we were watching something and Rob Lowe was on the film or TV show. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And she said, is that Woody Allen? And then I said, absolutely not. She said, I didn't mean Woody Allen. I meant Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
And I said, neither
way
of those are acceptable.
Yeah. Like the triangle white guy. They're like on the opposite
I was like,
of
all three of those people are polar opposite white guys.
Yeah, from the three of each other cannot be further.
And that's when she was finally diagnosed. And we're trying to get her help. And hopefully we can get someone to draw her on a subway to draw attention to this illness.
It's way too white for me, homeboy.
and we're probably gonna have to start a GoFundMe so she can get those special glasses that all the influencers are putting on so that they can see color for the first time. And yeah, so any support helps.
Yeah, you guys definitely need to make a video of her putting on those glasses for the first time. I understand who Woody Allen looks like compared to Woody Harrelson.
This is how Woody Allen always looked. Like, he starts crying. But yeah. Prayers and wishes, please send her away.
Right. That's hilarious. Yeah. Which other ones did she?
God, I wish I could remember. I always make fun of her. First of all, we always like to say like, you know, like if you see someone in the grocery store and you're like, look, that person looks like Ludacris.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we're like, holy shit, it does. We start laughing, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. She's okay at the game, right? Mm-hmm. Unless she tries to say, hey, look, that guy looks like Mel Gibson. And then you're like, no, he doesn't. Not even. Hey, look,
like any white celebrity.
Yeah, any white guy celebrity. Way off. Just nowhere near, you know, nowhere near it. Well, Keanu Reeves. Nope. No, not at all. Not at all.
That's hilarious. How about mixed race people if they're like they're like half white?
Well, I think it depends. Like, obviously, Keanu Reeves is mixed. But,
yeah.
And I don't even know if she's ever pointed out Keanu Reeves. Maybe she would nail that.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think of names.
Right. I forgot. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so I figured I'd bring that up on the podcast so that you guys are aware of what we're going through.
Listeners, send her your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, these hard times.
Yeah.
They're much appreciated.
Make sure you comment your support on her Instagram page.
Yeah, and if you could buy a print.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. Don't buy a print. Not for that.
Right.
But if you do buy a print because you want one from her, tell her it's because of her white guy face blindness.
They're not trying to profit off her disability, but anything helps in these hard times.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So that's something we've been suffering through together as a team.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long I can stay in this marriage if they don't find a cure. What are we on time?
We're at about hour 45. Yep.
Awesome.
Let's see what else. I've been really into what Blake Neubert's been doing lately.
I know I've seen some of his stuff and I liked it, but I can't remember exactly what or why. I remember being like, oh, he's doing something.
Yeah, he's been...
shout out to Blake.
Yeah, he's been doing these paintings that have been like basically like almost these really autobiographical paintings that deal with his struggles with mental issues. And they've been really interesting, like see the visual representation of like his mental state. And I don't know, I thought it was a really interesting and kind of I guess endearing way to to tackle the whole thing. And just kind of wanted to shout him out for that, because yeah, I just think that what he's doing is super interesting. It's like a really cool way of like being really honest about what he's doing, or honest about himself, and it's probably like pretty therapeutic for him as well. I mean, I don't have mental illness, at least none that feel debilitating. But I definitely have family members, and that shit ain't no joke. So. Oh yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he suffers from, or what if he even says it.
I guess a whole range of illnesses. He does.
That shit is tough for sure. And I mean, if he can find some kind of relief through his artwork, that's awesome.
Yeah, it seems like he is. It's more like I think not only just painting the paintings, but getting support from people who I guess either identify or sympathize. So yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool to see that.
I usually try to check in on him a little bit. But I haven't in a while. Yeah,
I think it's like he's had trouble like keeping a good I guess momentum going with his art, and I think a lot of these issues probably explain a lot of it, but it's cool that he found something that that he's able to, I guess, be more productive and like satisfied with his art recently. So I just thought it was pretty cool to see that.
I mean, I mean, I get like, for instance, like I don't think Blake Neubert would find this offensive at all, but I feel like there was some form of his art that he probably even felt like a gimmick, even though there was no misleading or anything like that.
Sure.
It just felt like something that maybe he got pigeonholed into doing.
Right. Are you talking about like the scraping?
Yeah, like the scraping art. And to me, like I fucking love those.
Yeah, I'll watch any one of those.
But I think it's a thing he probably has issues figuring out, because I think also when you gain a large amount of people because of something that you did, then you feel like you have to just do that thing forever.
Right.
There was a good TikTok video about that where the lady was like, oh, what you do is you keep trying things over and over and over again until, or maybe it was a guy, and it was like, until one thing catches and you become popular for that. And they were like, oh, cool. And they were like, and then you just do that thing forever. And they were like once a week. And they're like, oh no, every day. You have to do it every day for the rest of your life to maintain this level of popularity. And there is some like interesting, like you see that all the time with people where they're like, there's like that lady that did like the cinnamon challenge. She was like a black lady. She like, it was like hilarious. But then like you like stumble upon one of her videos like maybe like a year later, and you realize like, oh shit, you've been just doing challenges.
Oh no.
This whole time. Like, oh god, like that seemed miserable.
Right. Yeah. God.
And I think Blake might feel that kind of, even if it's not maybe real, or I mean it just, you might feel like you're stuck there, and for that I think that's tough in general, you know. So, and then trying to figure out what to do and being obsessed with maybe the attention that you got and trying new things, but obviously those things not working out as good as the thing that got you all the attention might make you doubt your own you know, direction, things like that.
Right. Yeah.
And if art is the place where you find relief and comfort and all those things that art has the ability to do, then, you know, it seems like a horrible place to be. And on top of that, I'm sure he has his own like actual challenges and life issues that everyone has. So
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope he's doing all right for sure.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But that's I did like that one. Well, I liked most of them already. But yeah, I mean, I'm so bad at, like, I've been trying hard not to be on Instagram too much, at least right now, while I'm trying to figure out what I'm like while I'm not creating. I've been kind of like staying away from it a bit. So usually I just flip through it and like a couple things and then leave as fast as I can.
Sure.
So I don't even read fucking captions half the time, so I didn't even realize what his work he's doing right now is even about.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So that's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, they're interesting little almost stories that he talked about, like his experiences just either growing up with all these mental diseases or how they've manifested. And yeah, they're pretty, I guess they're informative for like the average person who doesn't know a lot about these kinds of things, but not so much like in such a clinical way where you just like, oh, you could, you know, go on Wikipedia and read about OCD or whatever. It's more like, oh, this is actually what I've had to deal with. How and he kind of talks about that. It's interesting to see like the visual representation of that. Like it's they're like kind of clever ways that he's depicted visually how he feels emotionally.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Yeah, that shit's terrifying. It really is. The fact that your mind can kind of, you know, well, it controls you.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely have had, like, I've had immediate, like, my immediate family be schizophrenic, be bipolar, you know, and like, and that shit is difficult as fuck when you don't know. I mean, even like from the outside, it's like you don't realize how intense bipolar can be. You know, and then you realize like, oh, that shit can literally make you enabled to like take care of yourself if unmanaged, you know, for your entire life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, shit is terrifying for sure. I used to always be terrified of it because I knew it was in my family.
Oh, really?
And then, and they always say like the creatives are usually like the ones that get it. And so I've always been like, please don't go. Like, please not me, please.
yeah.
But yeah, shit sucks for sure.
Damn.
But yeah. Hope Blake is doing well. Gets better if he's in that dark place for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that means if he's able to even like talk about it and make art, that he's in a good enough place to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. For sure. Way to end it on a light note. Well, you guys know what you guys.
Well, let's start it out with praise.
Yeah. I mean, I always love Blake's work, and it's always like pretty honest, and I feel like he is very much in his work almost always. You know, even
right.
So yeah. Yeah, and if ever he's in the air, I would love to hang out again. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Is it the show?
I think so. We're almost at 2 hours.
Well, this has been Waiting Dry. If you're still listening, take care of yourself or something.
Yeah. All right.